All right, so for this episode of Skill Building, I decided it'd be fun to do a create in public kind of effort, building something live in kind of a short period of time. So that means the ultimate quality of it is not the point; it's the effort and the kind of drill and having fun with it. A little bit of structured playtime. So I decided what we'd do is we'd start off and we'd write a poem about robots and ninjas, and then we'd turn that into a song, since that's a progression of lyrics, and then adding a chord progression on top of the lyrics to give it to find the musical elements of the word, and then to put it to a rhythm and to make sure that it flows into the sections of a song. So that'll be the progression of this. And so starting out in the beginning, we have the lyrics. Dun, dun, dun. So what are the lyrics going to be for Robots and Ninjas? Well, I've written a few songs already, and one of the things that I like to do is find the chorus first, because that's the hook of the song. It's the catchy part of the song. It's what you build up to, and so the words that are around it that are more of like the body of the song, where this is like the spirit of the song, those have to all kind of fit to lead up to this one way or another. So let's start off. We got a song. We're going to call it Robots and Ninjas, because there needs to be more songs about robots and ninjas, and I'm just cutting right to the chase. So we've got this comparison that starts off in just kind of the theme, which I've also labeled as the title. So one of the things that you can do in songs is you can just kind of repeat the theme if you've got like a this and a that or something, these two things. And so we can put that into the chorus, and we'll just call it Robots and Ninjas something something. Robots and Ninjas something else. So there's going to be some kind of Robots and Ninjas something, Robots and Ninjas something. That's one way of doing it, right? Like Robots and Ninjas are fucking awesome, Robots and Ninjas, something that rhymes with that. So I got one part of this structure of that. Then I can transition that to the second part of the chorus, thinking if this would be like kind of 4 of these lines per chorus section. So that would be Robots and Ninjas something something, Robots and Ninjas something else. This is like the first time I've done this singing along to this process, since I've never narrated it before. I always just kind of look at it visually. This is a new thing for me. So Robots and Ninjas something else. Then we could talk about things about them. So we can list traits or activities, things that compare and contrast either the things we're talking about or where the story's going, or throwing out all the different ideas. And in this case, we got this. So, it's like, this can either be generic about any kind of robot and ninja, or we can try to make it a story where it's about specific robots and ninjas. Now, in this case, I say let's just go generic, because it's a generic name, and it's not about like Bob the robot versus Gary the ninja. It's just a regular robot and ninja song in the general sense. So Robots and Ninjas something, Robots and Ninjas something else. And then let's see, we could have something like the robots will never stop. Mission never ends. Something like that, right? There's like a robotic marching on and on, kind of one of the pros of being a robot. And then but the ninjas still live on. Okay, it's not really working out to sing that. The ninjas still live on. So we'd say like, you can't kill what you can't find, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So that works, but then their mission never ends, and you can't kill what you can't find don't rhyme. I could also match either ends or find with whatever's going to be at the end of line 5 or 6 here, something, something, or something, something else. These can match up. So one way you can do it is these two rhyme, and then these two rhyme. So you have, 2 lines that rhyme together and another 2 lines that rhyme together. And then another way you could do it is you have like the first and the third one rhyme, and then the second and the fourth one rhyme. So that you have one line and then another line that doesn't rhyme with it, and then the next rhyme lines with the first line, and the final line, the fourth line, rhymes with the second line, so that you get this match. So these are some of the ways, the basic ways of doing rhyming. There's a lot of ways to mix it up. You can pretty much move it in any pattern you want. They could all rhyme. Every one of them could rhyme, or stuff over here could rhyme. You, instead of being like the end of the sentence, you could be this middle piece of the sentence. So like the end of the first part, because these sentences have 2 parts. So that can be places where they rhyme, or you can mix and match those. It gets really complicated, and I haven't explored all that space, but that's part of how I go about thinking about this, is looking for these rules and seeing how can I determine what rules there are that can assist me. What are the tools that I have? Like, what's my hammer and my screwdriver for putting together a chorus? How do I figure out how to make things rhyme? Like, when is it okay to break the rules that things need to rhyme? And I try to, again, trying to keep my skill building to be active. I try not to, I try to read things from other people and listen to other people, but not follow their instructions and their path, because that's them and what they've heard. And so I take in what they tell me, and I hear that stuff, and I learn from it. And when they're really amazing, I imitate them to try to improve on them, or improve myself to the way that they are. But otherwise, I try to find my own way, especially if it's a creative, fun endeavor like this. It's like following someone else's rules for how to like create songs about robots and ninjas is not something I think you should do. I don't think those things go together. So anyway, we've got this. Robots, ninjas. The fight goes on. So robots, ninjas, the fight goes on. So that could go somewhere. And then we have robots and ninjas. Now the easiest thing to do would be to rhyme with the fight goes on. And there's all kinds of words that rhyme with on, like Tron. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas. I don't know. To prove who's strong. All right, that's not a great one, but it's like, it's a filler, and it doesn't really matter in some ways whether it works out to be great, because if it's ridiculous, that's fine too. This is just an exercise, like a drill on how to build things, and then it's a combo exercise for me, because I get another skill of how to speak in kind of semi-public, since it's being recorded and broadcast, YouTubed. And so so stacking up the skills as kind of many as you can simultaneously get together is my kind of method for getting better at things and not wasting time and being able to do more stuff, which is the reason why I build skills. So let's review the chorus. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas to prove who's strong. The robots will never stop. The mission never ends. But the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So ends and find still don't rhyme together. But I think I'm going to go with that last sentence, because I think you can't kill what you can't find is a lot more interesting than their mission never ends, which is kind of boring. So, let's see. The robots will never stop, blah, 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 but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. Alright, we could throw this out. Something like, Shinobi death is on their minds. The robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So then we have something that rhymes, minds and find. I threw in the little Shinobi reference there, which is really an old school game reference. I don't know who would be the kind of person who would like this song, but I think that one's pretty safe. Also, pop culture, or anybody who studied any Japanese. So, let's see. You can't kill what you can't find. So we got robots and ninjas. They're fighting. It's an epic battle. Let me just save this. I don't like to go too long without saving. Actually... lyrics. Create in public. There we go. All right. So, really. All right, so back to the thing here. We have the Robots and Ninjas chorus. Now, you don't start out with the chorus. Generally, you can start out with the chorus. There's no real rules, I think, in making things, but one of the simple patterns of making a song is A, B, A, B, C, A, B. And that A and B and C would be the different sections of the song. And so the A is the first stanza. The B is the second stanza or whatever paragraph kind of section. The C is something different. Then you go back to A and you go back to B. And so anything could be in A. A could be as complicated as you want. B could be as complicated as you want. C could be as complicated as you want. And they could all be kind of different lengths, but it makes sense often that A and B are the uniform length or the same length. C might be the same length, or it might be really short, or it might be really long, because that's the interlude where you mix stuff up and you kind of take them away. So A introduces, you get a little introduction, you move over to B, where it's something a little different, back to A. So, okay, here's that thing again. This repetition is what makes music. So now we have this repetition. Back to B, again a repetition. Now it's the second time through this pattern. If we did it one more time right away, it would be boring because we just heard it twice. So we've got the repetition, but too much repetition becomes repetitious. So we move to C, and C is our interlude, our bridge, they call it. And that's the thing that takes us away from A and B. It may be totally different than A and B, like A, B may be soft, this may be harsh, and A, B may be harsh, this may be soft, or fast and slow, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just got to be different. It could be, something that complements it, or like I said, is oppositional to it. Anything could be done there, and then back to A and back to B, which re-references the thing that we established as a pattern of the song, A and then B, and we're back to that, and we wrap it up. And then at the very end of the song, there's a little doodle-doot sometimes, musically, more than verbally, but it could go verbally too. So now we need some lead-ins. So this is going to be the beginning of A, and it may go beginning of A chorus, beginning of B chorus, or it may go one section of A, another section of A, and then the chorus. So we'll figure out kind of how that is, and I'll be working in these 4-sentence blocks, which should have the same basic amount of timing, amount of measures per sentence. But it could change. But the A and B, I think, are easiest for me to create where they're the same, and then move off to the chorus as general. So anyway, we're in the poetry part of that, so I'm getting too much into the theory of music of how I build the song, but that's how I approach it. So now we've got this piece. So we're going to go for a lead-in. This is the introductory piece. It sets the scenes. These are the first words that the listener of the song will hear. And so this will be the imagery that they have. And so I like to do it at this point in my kind of process. So I'll be doing that for this one, is saying that I'm going to give you a very image-filled thing, so you get some idea. And the image may be like a sensation, like there's a moving, flowing kind of thing, or it may be a specific image, like there's a room with a table and a desk, and the room is not well lit, and there's kind of like a spotlight, and it's swinging, and it's creating these shadows, and so this will conjure up images in everybody's head that relates to what they know of from this. So they might think of noir movies, or they might think of police interrogations, or they might think of, those are the things that I think of because of movies. But any kind of scene that you pull up, like a smoky bar that has a pool table and a bunch of guys are having a good time and laying down bills on the pool table and taking bets on shots. And, someone just ordered another round, and it's like, now you have this kind of ideas going on. So for the Robots and Ninjas song, we want to lead in with something visual. And so it can be specifically visual about a specific thing we're going to name, like that Bob and Gary kind of character, or it can be a little more metaphorically visual, or a little symbolic, not being so quite specific. So again, this is a generic song, so we're going to go more generic. So let's start off. We're going to have metal. I'm just going to throw out some words. Flesh, skin, hard edges. I'm just throwing out kind of words that can be the imagery that we're going to start off with. These are the differences between robots and ninjas. Skills versus analytics. Training versus being trained. Little AI reference. Let's see. What else do we want to put in here? We'll put in metal, flash, hard edges, skills, analytics, training, some kind of action, the flash of steel against his skin. No target to dig in. It's kind of a cheap rhyme, but maybe it'll work. We can work with it. Not the direction I thought I was going to go with it, but that's what came out. Flash of steel against the skin. No target found to dig in. And so this may not be the opening piece. This may just be some other piece. Maybe this will end up being part of the bridge where it goes some totally different place. And now this is like part of a fight. So let's kind of use that idea here. And I'll move it down beneath the first chorus. Flash of steel against the skin. Found no target to dig in. The precision slash against the joint. Found shielded wires. Electric like a vault would be nice. Electric vault. Some kind of vault imagery that you can't get in. shields, shielded wires, power source, shielded wires. Maybe there's something else to than that. So anyway, we'll leave that for a little bit. This creation process is messy, as they say. So we've got our sections. Got robots and ninjas. I've got this little set of words that I've thrown out for kind of priming me for imagery. We got a chorus. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas to prove who's strong. Robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So there we go. We got a little chorus. It could certainly be better, but we're just gonna take this out, build it, and complete it, and record it and ship it. And it's like, that's this process I'm working on. So one of my other skills that I work on is how to productionize kind of any process, so that you can take something like writing this music and turn it into a process that you do over and over again, because the more times you do it, the better you become at it, and the more you start to systematize it, and you start to think of what are the requirements that you need when you go into it, and then what do you need at each stage to kind of move it to the next stage, how to get it to it's actually finished, how to actually wrap it up, and then after you've wrapped it up, it's like go back and fix those things. So it's like wrap it up first, get it launched, and then go back and fix it, and it's like you'll be working from a completed product, which is much easier to critique than when it's in the flow. So anyway, that's what the goal of this will be. We've got this this conundrum, this puzzle in front of us, full of blank space. So we've got our words, we've got our chorus, we've got maybe this bridge down there that's like kind of an action scene. Flash of steel against skin, found no target to dig in. Precision slash against the joint, found shielded wires. There's another thing that needs to be there. Maybe it will pop up at some point. So, one of the things I could do, because of the genericness of this song, is on the introductory line, I can just use robots and ninjas as the start, because I'm bringing up in your mind the most clear thing that we're talking about robots and ninjas. There's nothing else being talked about here. So that might be the most visual thing that I could say when I first lead off. And in this initial part, I think especially, you want to move through words that sound right and seem grammatically okay for whatever brand of music and lyrics you're doing, that trigger all the ideas that you want someone to have when they begin this experience. So, thrown out robots and ninjas. If the song title didn't show up to them before they started hearing it, now they know what the song is about. So, robots and ninjas. We'll just throw this out. Have forever warred. Since the beginning of time, their fight endures. Robots and ninjas have forever warred. Since the beginning of time, their fight endures. 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 So, always save. Keep the backups. That way you don't lose your work. So we got an introduction. It tells us the topic. It gives us kind of, there's a conflict. They're not friends. We throw out a little silliness and kind of make it a little more interesting by being more hyperbolic that robots and ninjas have warred forever. And then we back it up with, since the beginning of time, their fight endures, which pretty much says that this is something bigger than all of us. This goes back to the beginning of time. So robots and ninjas have forever warred. Since the beginning of time, their fight endures and yours. Since the beginning of time, they fight indoors. So, we'll reverse the words, which we normally do, robots and ninjas, and I'll introduce ninjas first. Ninjas hate robots with ancient something. But the robots could not care. Of course. So, of course, robots can't care. So, ninjas hate robots with ancient. What are we going to say? Might use some obscure word that's going to be able to remind with of course. Of course might not be the best thing, but I needed some way to end that. And it didn't line up with, but robots could not care. And then there needs to be a couple more syllables there. Of course, 2 more syllables. So, ninjas hate robots with ancient. Aha. There we go. Ninjas hate robots from ancient source. From an ancient source. But robots could not care, of course. So, we have the ninjas hating the robots from some long time ago, which we already established. And then there's the double meaning behind source, since robots run on code, source code. But the robots could not care, of course, because robots, of course, don't have any feelings, so they couldn't possibly care that the ninjas hate them. Fight each other is the only way. Sorry, I just got lost in trying to think about this and forgot I was doing this little recording. So, to fight each other is the only way. Let's see. Let's go back to the beginning, because I'm blanking on this. This is the dreaded blank, where you're kind of got some stuff, or maybe you don't have anything and you're not sure where to go next. So what I do when I get stuck like this is I go back and I review. I go through the sections. I go over what I know, what I plan, what I need next, and then oftentimes something will come up, or I'll start to see something else and I'll work on it, and then I'll work my way back around to wherever I was stuck. So anyway, we have some words: metal, flesh, skin, hard edges, skill versus analytics, training versus being trained. Then we have the introduction. Robots and ninjas have forever warred. Since the beginning of time, they fight indoors. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care, of course. So, gonna work on how to inflect that. That always being one of the things that needs some time to work out, so you can hear it, feel it, get used to saying it, forming all the syllables for the word to sing it. So next sentence we got here: to fight each other is the only way. We can end with something like they. So like they keep the they are the only ones who can keep the others at bay. So we got to contract because there's too many things. So they're the only ones who can keep the others at bay. So that's too much. They're the only ones. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. I can probably squeeze that out, so that might work. They fight each other, it's the only way. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Alright, maybe that'll get worked out. So we got a build up. So that would be like the humming, to hum how the words go, to see kind of what the musicality of it is. So that's how I put those two together. So now these next two sentences have to be worded in such a way where they go with that. So something like that would work, where you have that one build up, and then you kind of contrast them a little bit, so that this one leads up and this one leads back down. And that's one way of doing it. Again, it could be done any way, but the way that I look at it is to try to figure out what ways are possible to do it and which ways I know how to make that I can do it, and then I try to use them out, and if one doesn't work, I'll switch to the other one. And the more of those that I'm kind of conscious of as I do this, the more, the easier it is for me to improve on these processes and to get them done quickly, and start it, work on it, finish it, ship it, go back later on and rework it and try to make it better and iteratively improve on things that you can't just knock out the first time. It's always the way good things are made. So we got two letters. We got this A section. Robots and ninjas that forever warred since the beginning of time. Their fight endures. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care, of course. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Something, 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 something. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas to prove who's strong. The robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. The flash of steel against his skin found a target to dig in. Precision slash against the joint found shielded wires. Something dun 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 dun, something like that, right? Shielded wires. Joint is just not a great word to rhyme against there. Joint, point, loint, soint, moint, coint, doint, swoint, doint. So just go down the keyboard here. Coint, woint, oint, roint, toint, yoint, yoint, oimp, boimp, imp, simp. Now I don't know how to rhyme that. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure somebody's got some good ways to rhyme it. But I'll change it from precision slash against the joint to, because again, in this one, we already rhymed the line 24 and 25 here. The flash of steel against the skin, found a target to dig in. So, down on line 26 and 27, found shielded wires, something, something. So we'll change this to the precision slash against the joint to the precision slash. We'll change it to a stab. Oops. And we'll change it to the precision stab to the memory core. That sounds robotic. Found shielded wires. Nothing more. Get a little of the Raven kind of sound in there. The smallest bit. So, now what we can do is we can go back and we can drop this chorus on here. This is another way to do it for these songs. And at this point, you know, it's not in the traditional A, B, C, A, B pattern of the song to build that repetition, but it actually has a little bit of repetition through it. 2 uses of chorus. It'll be a really short song. You know, I think the way that they try to do it for radio songs is they cut it at like 3 minutes. They want it to be like 3 minutes 15, close to 3 minutes, something like that. I think that's like their way they like to build up their things to put commercials in. But because I'm doing this as a skill building thing and just for fun, then I'm not going to do it that way. I can make super short songs. It's fine. And it's less work. And since this is also an example, it's better that it's less work. So, let's review. This thing, we'll just cut it out. So we got robots and ninjas out for rewards. At the beginning of time, their fight endures. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but robots could not care, of course. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're only ones who keep each other at bay. I need to finish this. To be the victor takes every resource. Not very catchy. Resource is not a very great song name. Like relations. Not a great song word. Relations. Fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Something like that. Gotta have a little thing. So, the only ones who fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. So now they've only got this one thing to do. Again, we're talking very generically. And, yeah. So now let's go into some weapons, I think. So we got the robot weapons and we got the ninja weapons, since that's one of the other things they're famous for, and we never really talk about that stuff specifically. So we can go into it like laser versus Wazakashi. And I think Wazakashi. Yep, that's what people seem to be calling it. Wakizashi. Yeah, so this is the shorter sword. Yeah. Just double check here. Daito down to Wakizashi. Down here. So it's the small one. And that would be more of a ninja kind of weapon because its shorter length is better used indoors, and pretty much they're like assassins and spies, right? So they use the shorter weapons for indoor work rather than field work being in open warfare. So this is... How did I just possibly lose that? Right? Wakizashi. Right. So, Wakizashi. We'll just make a reference. Not everyone will get it, but that makes it better, right? For the ones who do get it, they know they're more unique, and this is more their kind of thing. So laser versus Wakizashi. Laser versus Wakizashi. Rocket versus Throwing Star. Rocket versus Throwing Star. Heat-seeking missiles. Diverted by smoke bombs, right? So how would that work? How would heat-seeking missiles be diverted by some kind of smoke bombs? Yeah, heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Now, Star and Fog. Laser versus Wakizashi. Rocket versus Throwing Star. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. So, at this point, there's so many syllables packed into this line here. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog, that we've gone past the need to have to rhyme this with the sentence above it. So these two, I don't think have to rhyme because this one's got more syllables. And the way that this happens is it pushes the syllable, because if it was going to rhyme, it would need to be in the same place in the syllables as the thing that it rhymes with, or in some way that lined up with that. And the way that this one lines up, it doesn't line up, and so they don't need to rhyme. And I'll try to just sing this again and make that point. Laser versus Wakizashi. Rocket versus Throwing Star. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. So there's some kind of connection that happens in can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog here that kind of separates it into its own sentence, and it loses the requirement to need to rhyme against star here. Also, there's a little bit of assonance between star and fog, just in that kind of sound. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas to prove who's strong. Yeah, that's no good, right? So they must prove who's strong. They must prove who's strong. That's a pretty weak fucking excuse, right? Like fighting forever and ever just because you need to prove who's strong. But doesn't mean it wouldn't happen. It could be happening right now. How we know? Ninjas. Robots and ninjas, they must prove who's strong. Now, let's play around with this some more. We got that on. We could do anything with that on. It doesn't need to be strong. That's just the first thing that I came up with. So, let's see. What else could this be besides strong? The fight goes on. Well, yeah, why not reference Tron, right? It was the first thing I came up with. It's pretty current. There was those movies and animated series and stuff like that for it. So that, again, winds in some kind of an audience, whether it's, when you're developing a piece, there's a lot of ways to do it, but one way to do it is to think of the audience and to think, what is it these guys are going to want in their music. What do they connect with? What are other things that they look at? Now, another way of doing it is for yourself, and another way of doing it is for nobody. So there's no particular audience, and you're kind of just expressing things, but you're not doing it for yourself. You're not amusing yourself, but you're working through ideas and stuff. So those are three ways of doing this. But I'm picking the one where I think there's an audience out there for this product, this piece, this poem that will become a song. So Robots and Ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and Ninjas. I was going to do something fun here with might, right, and something like that. Get a little double rhyme going on. But that really isn't necessarily the right rhyme. Robots and Ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and Ninjas. No off and no on. That's just repeating the word on. You can't do that. Robots and Ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and Ninjas. Well, I mean, here's an easy one, right? There can be only one. So we get the Highlander reference. A bit overused, a bit cliche, but it's a fun one. For whatever reason, that seems to still keep its amusement factor. So we got Robots and Ninjas, forever warred since the beginning of time. Their fight endures. Robots hate ninjas. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source. But robots could not care, of course. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakizashi. Rocket versus Throwing Star. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Robots and Ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and Ninjas, there can be only one. There can be only one. There can be only one. The robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds. The ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. Flash of steel against the skin. Found no target to dig in. The precision stab to the memory core. Found shielded wires. Nothing more. Robots and Ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and Ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So, there we go. I think that, we can get rid of this. I think that is our piece in terms of lyrics. So now, we put it to music. So put everything onto one page because I'm about to drop some chords here. And of course, I can't actually see how this is lined up, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's all for the effort. Robots and ninjas have forever warred. Lame. So that was a G. So I'm just trying out different chords to see how Robots and Ninjas sounds when I put it to a chord. See how the sound of my voice and the chord work, and figure out which one of them is the one I should go more towards when I do this this kind of voicing thing. So here's F. Robots and ninjas have forever warred. 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 Since the beginning of time. Robots hate ninjas. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source. The robots could not care, of course. So I'm just playing around at this point. I haven't figured out what sounds good, but I think I'm liking this starting on the F. F is one of the chords I'm not that great at, so that always makes it a little more challenging, but then at the same point, then I'm getting better at it. And that goes for my skill building kind of goal, where I try to mix in multiple things to train at the same time, and just trying to pick the right level. And when I put it into percentages, I think I want to be at the 70% line. I want to say I want to work to the 70% ability, because when you start to work towards 100% of the ability, you start getting towards you can't handle it. You can't do everything that's going on. You're at your 100%. And of course, when you cross 100%, you're starting to not do it well at all, because you're screwing it up. You're beyond your ability. Whatever your ability is, once you go beyond your ability, you're not able to do it anymore. So you're screwing it up. So I try to pull it in, but if I can add in little things that I'm not as good at. Robots and ninjas have forever won. Beginning of time, they're fighting doors. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source. The robots could not care, of course. They fight each other, it's the only way. The only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakizashi. Rocket versus throwing. Rocket versus throwing star. Heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the smoke from fog. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop knowing death is on their minds. The ninjas still live on. You can feel what you can find. That one worked out really well, and that's the same one as G, D, E minor, C. That's the same progression as in what's it called? See the stone set in her eyes. See the thorn twist in her side. And I'm waiting for you. Slide of hand and twist of fate on a bed of nails. She makes me wait. And I'm waiting for you. Without you. That's the Without You. That's where I learned it anyway. That's the song that I play the most that has that little roundabout in it, but it seems to work with our robot song. So, robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop. Death is on their minds, and the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So I could repeat that again, because it's actually sounds pretty good. So I'll just double that up. I don't have enough lines. Well, I do. Yeah, I'll double it up. This little +6 over here was actually to remind me that I made the fonts bigger so that people watching could read along what I'm doing. So if I make it smaller, then it'll fit on the screen again. I can go 6 sizes down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's normal screen size for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright? Whatever. I'll have to figure it out. Anyway, we got one. This one works. Now we just need these other ones. So we got this one. The, maybe starting with the F. Robots and ninjas have forever. Robots and ninjas have forever. Since the beginning of time, they're fighting yours. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care. Course. Whatever, that's not great, but I don't mind it. It's like that's F, C, F, D. So it just bounces back and forth, and I'm just going to repeat it the whole way down. If I had some other way of doing it, like I was going to go F, C, F, C, or something like that, like in alternation, either between these two lines or even just these two lines and these two lines, I might write it like this. I might write it like this. There's a number of ways that I could write it to keep it short and on this page, which is not the traditional way of writing this, but works for me because I can see this is the chord progression, these are the words, and then I can start off from the lyrics and I can build this in. It's also the way I strip things down when I look for guitar tabs and really the chord progressions, and then make them into things where I'm working on the lyrics instead of trying to get the timing, which they match with the lyrics and the spacing for where the chord is, so you get the timing. So this is a different method of that. So we have the next section. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakizashi, rocket versus throwing star. Heat-seeking missiles cannot penetrate the smoke bomb fog. So we're gonna put this one to lyrics. So let's try it with the first one, although I don't think it's gonna work, and I'm not sure that's interesting enough anyway. So they fight each other, it's the only way. Nah, it doesn't sound good, like right off the bat. They fight each other. They fight each other, it's the only way. So D, the fifth of D, since I just jumped on D to try that out. Previously I was on F as the root, and I do G as the root in the chorus. So the lead in is F, C, F, D. I'm working on this one, which I'm thinking about starting out at D, because then it leads from F, C, F, D into what this one's going to be. And then finally it goes to G, D, E minor, C, which starts here on line 15, where we have the robots and ninjas fight on chorus. So this one, if I started at D, the fifth of D, D to A, you can do A minor 7, A minor, D, very sad, major, major, D major, A major. You can look the chords up if you don't know them. They're pretty easy though. A little triangle chord, a little flat chord in terms of the finger position. So they fight each other, it's the only way. So that's not interesting enough, but we can move it. They fight each other, it's the only way. And that is I'm going into a little bit of music theory that I know. D to A, that's the fifth. D to G, which is one before A since it wraps over A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it wraps over to A again. That's how they do this kind of describing things, the chord progressions, the intervals of music. So, if we go to G instead of A is a fifth, G is a fourth. So we go, they fight each other is the only way. And that's a little more interesting than they fight each other, it's the only way. Because these are two in line with each other. The first and the fifth are kind of like, they've got a similarity to them. So D, A, D, A. But D, G, that's a little brighter. It's got a little more energy to it. D, G, D, 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 A, D, A, D, A. So not as much stuff going on there. So I like D, G. So is that the only thing we're going to do? So that's D and G. I don't want to keep doing this. D and G. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. So I'm thinking maybe out here, we're going to do something different. So they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. So no, they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. So C, A minor, very similar sounds because they use almost the same, if you can see that, but they use almost the same strings and pressing on the strings. So too similar. So I could do that. So they C and then D. So D, G, and then maybe C, D, which comes back around but makes it sound a little different. So they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakazashi. Laser versus Wakazashi. Rocket versus throwing star. So that one's going to have to be different. So this is going to be D, C, D, C, D. That's going to be the first two lines here. And then I'm going to go, just keep going out. Laser versus Wakazashi, rocket versus throwing star. Heat-seeking missile can't penetrate the smoke bomb. So I know this has to be different anyway, because not following the rhyming pattern. So this is going to be, it's going to trail on longer. So it's going to go, they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakazashi, rocket versus throwing star. So let's start off with that, but it's actually going to be longer. So it's going to be like that. I'm spacing them out a little bit. I don't know if you can tell. I'm just trying to give myself a visual so that I know how this is going to go. So these first two lines here, they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep themselves at bay. Now this one goes Laser versus Wakazashi, rocket versus throwing star, but I say it a lot slower than normal. And that's what I'm trying to do with this this spacing right here, is to let myself know that this is the timing. This is just a little method that I've developed for myself on how to read this. You'll have to figure out your own method. You could use this. You could use any of the many that already exist. But again, for me, developing these kind of writing things is part of that active part of learning. So anyway, the last thing we have, we'll start at the beginning. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakazashi, rocket versus throwing star. Heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the. Heat-seeking missiles can penetrate. Heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the smoke bomb, smoke bomb, fog, smoke bomb, fog, smoke bomb, fog. All right, let's hit it again. Because if I end on this D7 here, the D7 resolves to G really nicely. So if you see that, that goes there. D also goes nicely. So they both have a nice D and D7, D to G. But D and G naturally go together and they play off each other a little more. Where D7 really resolves well to G. D7, G, D7, G. But G, D7, G, D7. You could use that, but it doesn't have that immediate, naive sound to it that just moves up and resolves. So, but it might be a really nice place to end up, because the next thing that we're going to do is go to G here. So that means I'm resolving and I'm moving into the chorus, and maybe it'll be interesting to resolve and move into the chorus at the same time. So let's review and try to get something more out of this than that. They fight each other, it's the only way, they're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakazashi, rocket versus throwing star. Heat-seeking missiles. Got this wrong. Got distracted. Heat-seeking missiles. So they fight each other, it's the only way, they're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakazashi, rocket versus throwing star. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Too much. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Smoke bomb. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb. Smoke bomb fog. Yeah, I like going down here, so I thought I was going to do D7 maybe, which goes up. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Wrong. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. So it's down, but it goes down to D. I like it. So, what is that? Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. So that's G, E minor, A minor, D. And of course, if you're going to do this, you have to learn all these first. So go look it up, learn how to do them. These are the open string chords. They're the most prominent ones you'll get if you look up guitar chords. And just learn all the open face ones, learn all the major ones first, because I think they sound nice and they're easy to work with. So anyway, we've got C, E, A minor, D. So it's going to be C, C, E, A minor, D. And so in this one, we're actually packing in quite a lot. And so if you look at this little progression that I built here, it's like they fight each other, it's the only way. So we just went through two. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. So we just went through two more. Laser versus Wakazashi, that's one and it's a long one. Rocket versus Throwing Star, that's two and it's a long one. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke bomb fog. So that's where it packs all that in. And then when we do this and we change it so that they're all together, that's going to make it sound more complete. And again, we skipped that rhyme with this because we packed in those more syllables. And now, just like we packed in more syllables, we're packing in more chord changes, which I think they speed it up a little bit more. It's like it's a faster little section, and that ends it. And then that D and G go well together because it's going to be heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the smoke bomb fog. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop. Shinobi, death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes kill what you can't find. So now we get to the bridge. The flash of steel against the skin, found no target. Oh, I duplicated this word last time. Screwed that up. Found no target to dig in. The precision stab to the memory core, found shielded wires and nothing more. I don't know. We'll have to work on that. That's not that great. Robots and ninjas, the fight goes on. I think, oh man, carries on. It's kind of cliche, but this is a pretty cliche song. Robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. So this is this, and this is going to be robots and ninjas, there the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. Robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. So one thing we can do about this is when we double it up here, we can change part of this. So we could leave this lead in the same. So robots and ninjas, fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. I could do that piece here, and then I can do it again here. And then I can switch this. And one of the techniques is you only switch like one of the lines, and you leave the other line, and you just put in another rhyme here. So instead of the robots will never stop, Shinobi death is on their minds, I could just change this last part here. And we could say, the robots will never stop. So find, mind. Let's go through the naive rhymes. Find, mind, bind, hind, rind, lined, pined, tined, gind, wind, signed. Oh, signed. Yeah, I can make a signed. The death warrant signed. Ooh, how much of a pun could it be? So, this is another pun, in a way, of a referencing just the word sign, which is a mathematical concept used in robotics. So, robots will never stop, their death warrant signed. So there actually refers to robots and not ninjas, so that doesn't make sense. Unless it's the ninjas that have had the death warrant for the robots. The death warrant has been signed. Let's try it. So this is the same thing as G, D, E minor, C. So robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop, the death warrant has been signed, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. Alright, so we got, I doubled this up, and then I can repeat it again down here at the end chorus. We can do double it up again, and we'll see if that's too much, right? Maybe 2 choruses in the middle and 2 choruses at the end is too much. Maybe it should only be 1 at the end. You can always just play longer, right? If I get down there and it seems to be working out. Just got to see if it sounds right? If it sounds like doing it twice is too much and it's boring, then don't do that. And if it sounds like it's working out, then do that. So, what do we have next? We have this, blah, 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 blah. And now we have the last piece here, which is the bridge, which needs to be something else. And so this should break away from all these things. It could still be similar, but the idea is that it provides a break from this other music and then goes back to wrap up, reminding us of the song that we just broke from, bringing it all back, the memories come back, oh yeah, that thing again, and but we get a little less of it this time in this song. Sometimes you build up a little more, sometimes you give them a little less. In this case, I'm going to give them a little less at the end of the song after the bridge, but that is the way for the A, B, C, A, B pattern is there's 2 loaded in front of 2 ABs loaded before the bridge and then 1 AB afterwards. So that is the traditional song pattern as well. But of course, all rules can be broken. So, flash the steel against the skin, found no target to dig in. So he disappeared. The precision stab to the memory core, found shielded wires, nothing more. It's kind of Dr. Seussish in a way, or simplistic and childlike, but I don't mind it. It's like, again, we want to wrap it up, and this has been going on for a while, so in the effort of beginning a project, work through the project, finishing the project, and shipping the project at one shot, let's just knock this out. Flash of steel against his skin. So we could be like, flash of steel against his skin. Found a target to dig in. Precision stab to the memory core. Found shielded wires, nothing more. So I don't really want to end there though. So the flash of steel against his skin. Found a target. So that's A minor, D, C. So we repeat A minor instead of doing it in an A or something like that. You want to repeat things because as you repeat them, when you repeat them, they become part of the musical nature. Music has to repeat. If it never repeats, it's noise. It has to repeat to have music, and the way that we enjoy how it repeats is how we enjoy the music. Too sad. So that's more kind of like I went A minor, D, C, D. It doesn't really go anywhere though, so A minor, D, C, yeah. That's kind of nice in that A minor, C, A minor, D, C, F, A minor, D, F, C, A minor, D, F, C. A little more too complicated. A minor, D, C, F. Let's try it. So the flash of steel against the skin, found no target to dig in. Precision stab to the memory core, found shielded wires, nothing more, more. I think we can leave it that. So that's yeah. So this would be A minor, D, C, F. And we'll repeat that. So A minor, D, C, F, A minor, D, C, F. So this would be the flash of steel against the skin. Found no target to begin. Precision stab to the memory core. Found shielded wires, nothing more. Robots and ninjas, fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. ad lib. Robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas. It's just fun to say. To say. So this will repeat in the same chorus kind of thing. And that's we got a little tail. We got a little verbal tail. I didn't think we would get that. I don't know if I've ever done it before. I must have thought about it since I mentioned it earlier. Robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas. It's just fun to say. So normally I would resolve it. So when you string off like that, resolve. And the theory behind that would be G would be the primary, D is the fifth, E minor is the sixth minor, C would be the fourth, the C is one less than D, and then we resolve to G. And so that completes it. But in this case, because this is kind of like a little, I'm just throwing this out there. Robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas. It's just fun to say. So it just trails off without resolving. It never resolved. The robots and ninjas continue to fight on in our epic story. So that's it for the process. So now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That seems so small. Yeah, maybe that's not enough. So no, I don't need to remember this anymore. And then it all still fits in one page. So again, for me, this is really important that I can see everything inside one page here. So all fits, the whole song, in one page, including the title. I could always get rid of the title because it's not needed, right? I know what the title is. It's in the thing right above that. So this allows me to get me some ideas on what the repetition is. This is going to be a simple repetition of just this. And you can even play around with how you play this when you look at it. But you know this works. We tested it out. Then we have this one where we have another more complicated method, which is the B, the A, and then the B. So we have A and B, and then it's hard to say what this is. I mean, this whole thing might be A, actually, if you look at it one way, and this is B, and this is C, and this is B again. So we're not playing by the rules here with this A, B, C, A, B structure, but I think it worked out anyway. So let's hear the whole thing. This is the song that was created in this one session from just the idea of robots and ninjas as the song theme. The words were developed, everything was put together, you saw the whole thing. So, creation in public. Robots and ninjas have forevermore, since the beginning of time they're fighting yours. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care less, of course. Alright, that didn't flow well. They fight deep course. I gotta put it someplace. Course, 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 course. So what I'm doing is I'm just going through all the different chords that I know, which is some of them on this open fretboard, and seeing if I play from this last D, which is where I left it right here, this last D right here of this, of course, it's like I'm starting off with a D right after that, and it's like you can't end in a D and start in a D because it doesn't go anywhere. There's no movement, and you have to have movement for it to trigger the music emotional response deal. So But the robots could not care. But the robots could not care. Alright, I can do it. So I'll just put in a second line here, which actually, doing that, goes to D to A minor. But the robots could not care less, of course, and I've kind of given myself this second one here to tell me that there's another way to do it, and I just have to figure out how to do that. And again, that's part of the activeness of playing and learning to build the skills. So, let's go through it again. The robots and ninjas have ever won since the beginning of time. They're fighting yours. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care. Maybe that works instead. So what I just tried didn't work, so I kind of played around with it right while I was doing it. So let's do it again. This time, instead of D and then A minor, I'm going to do D and then D7. So it's going to go robots and ninjas have forever won since the beginning of time. They're fighting yours. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care, of course. They fight each other, it's the... Oh, that's awful. It works when they're separate, but it doesn't work. I can't transition from this to this. This did sound better with D7, but I can't transition from could not care, of course, D7 to this DGCD, and I've already got it worked out. It means shit has to change. Something has to change. What's going to change? So, let's see. The robots could not care, of course. Ends in a D or a D7. They fight each other. It's the only way. And starts in a D. So I started in a D, but I ended it in a D. What I can do is I can transpose all of this to A. So D to A. A is the fifth of D. So everything is going to move to its fifth. And luckily, that's a translation I know how to do, because if you look up circle of fifths, or you already know it, you know how to roll around the circle in the circle of fifths. So it's going to go D, A, G, D, C, G, G, A. So that's just the thing. So it's going to go A, C, G, A. They fight each other, it's the only way. Right, so let me just write it down, because I'm not really that good at this. So this is going to be D to A, G to D, C to G, D to A, D to A, G to D, C to G, E is B. I'm not good at B's. That's gonna suck. This was an E minor. So B minor. I'm better at B minors. Look at that. A minor. So again, it's gonna be A to D, D minor. I can do those. and then D goes back to A. All right. I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to just drag this out of the way here. So I haven't deleted it yet, but it's small. In fact, move it over here. Just have to think about it. These little lines. Annoying. Anyway, let's see. Fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones to keep each other at bay. Well, when I changed it, it appears that this loop sounds better here than these two just hanging out on their own. So I'm going to change that. Previously it seemed to be better the other way. So they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. There's a verses, Wakizashi, Wakizashi. There's a verses, Wakizashi, Wakizashi. Rocket versus throwing star. That may have been the transition, but I think it broke the key. But it sounds like junk, so I'm just going to flip it around to things that probably sound less like junk. So this, and then of course we're going to go into G, D, E minor, C in the next section. So we can't do what we just did in the last section and get it wrong again. So this can't be the same thing as that. So it's got to be G, C, G, D might work. It's a heat-seeking missiles and heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the smoke bomb fog. It sounds like it's not finished yet, though. So if it's G, D, G, C, so laser versus Wakizashi, rocket versus throwing star, heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the smoke fog. Yeah, I gotta double that up. So this section here. So I'll just do it twice, and that tells me that I'm going to do it once. I'm going to do it again. So then this whole section becomes, they fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakizashi, rocket versus throwing star, heat-seeking missiles can penetrate the smoke from fog. So that sounds good. So let's put these other two together. My little notes to say that these all run together now since we reformatted it, and I think we can get rid of this one. So now we have a different one that should roll with the first one. So let's try them both. So robots and ninjas have forevermore. Since the beginning of time, and we're fighting yours. So since the beginning of time, too many syllables, so I keep tripping over it. From the beginning of time, since the beginning of time, since, we can do this. From the start of time, and that gives us a better number of syllables. Let me practice this section. Robots and ninjas have forevermore. so I can scrap that D7 now, because I was trying to roll that into a G, but it didn't work. So, robots and ninjas have ever won from the start of time. Fighting yours, ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots could not care. They fight each other, it's the only way. They're the only ones who keep each other at bay. Laser versus Wakasashi, rocket versus Lone Star. Heat-seeking missiles cannot penetrate the smoke from far. Robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop. Shinobi devils on their minds. The ninjas still live on. You can kill what you can find. Robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. The robots will never stop. The death warrant has been signed, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. Flash of the steel against his skin about no tender targeting. Precision stab to the memory core. Virtually wires, nothing more. Gotta work on that part. Robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their mind, but the ninjas still live on. You can kill what you can't find. Robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas. It's just fun to say. So that was our first draft of the song, and then what I noticed was this chorus was boring. It didn't really work the second time. The change that I made wasn't really that good, so cut it. Makes the song shorter, punchier. It's not a radio cut song, so that doesn't matter that it gets super, super short. And I think it's about ready to go, which means I'll do one more quick playthrough here. We'll wrap it up, and then what I'll do is I'll upload this video that kind of shows me doing all this stuff, and then I'll take a little time and I'll try to practice this a little bit, get the flow of what gets created, and then upload that on hopefully tonight, which means the finished product, the shipped product for V1 of our iterations is done, and then that way started something, worked on it, finished it, shipped it same night, all in one session. It's like that has been there's a lot of work that I put into trying to make it so that I could do things like that, part of the skill building exercises. So the organization for that is part of the reason that it got done, and I'm working on it even more so that I can do even more stuff in a shorter period of time. And this is kind of what skill building means to me. I'm going to mention that a bunch until I've really worked out all the terminology for it so that I can explain my position, and hopefully people can get something out of that, and it'd be interesting to see what other people do, which of course I look at all the time. So that's it. Let's do the last run through. Robots. Let's try to do it not so crappy. Robots and ninjas have robots and ninjas have ever won from the start of time. They're fighting yours. Ninjas hate robots from an ancient source, but the robots do not care. Laser versus Wakazashi. Laser versus Wakazashi. Rocket versus throwing star. That transition needs work. I'll have to work on that. Heat-seeking missiles can't penetrate the smoke-bound fog. Robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. Robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. The Flash is still against his skin, found a target to dig in. The precision stab to the memory core, found shielded wires, nothing more. Robots and ninjas, the fight carries on. Robots and ninjas, there can be only one. The robots will never stop. Shinobi death is on their minds, but the ninjas still live on. You can't kill what you can't find. Robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas, robots and ninjas. It's just fun to say. Yes, it is.